From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Daryl Clark. Stephanie Woodard has the evening off. Our top story, the Fairbanks North Star Borough Pollution Control Commission met in a packed assembly chamber last night. Now, the panel that makes recommendations on borough policy took public testimony on the proposed air quality control ordinance currently before the Borough Assembly. Another round of public testimony is scheduled for January 29th, when the Assembly will vote whether or not to approve legislation that sets a monetary fine schedule for wood-burning violations, builds a tiered alert advisory system that comes with burn bans, and institutes property limits for the use of hydronic heaters. If last night was any indication, Borough residents are split on the issue. While a majority of those who testified at the meeting did so in opposition to the ordinance, there was also voices in support of the control. Assemblyman John Davies, the primary sponsor of the measure, took heat for his comments, which aired on this station, mainly that the air quality in the non-attainment zone is killing borough residents.
There is no one that can give me a single entity that has died from an outside air event. Okay? The facts just don't substantiate it.
There are accepted methodologies by which you can calculate the expected numbers of deaths and sicknesses that result from this level of PM2.5. Those things have been studied around the country. If you apply those protocols, those methodologies to Fairbanks, you come up with somewhere between 25 and 100 people.
President Barack Obama delivered his 6th State of the Union address before both the U.S. House of Representatives and Senate Tuesday night. While the president pledged to work with Republicans, he also showed few signs of curtailing or tweaking his own plans to meet the GOP's platform. Obama unveiled an ambitious agenda steeped in Democratic priorities, including tax increases on the wealthy, education and child care help for the middle class, and a torrent of veto threats for the GOP's own plans. Alaska's senatorial delegation, both Republicans, sounded off following the address.
The president had an opportunity, I think, to say, let's work together in these last 2 years of my administration. And he could have said that, and in a way he did say it, but then he went on to say, but only on my terms.
The focus on policies and initiatives that are top-down, Washington mandated, more spending, more tax increases. You know, this president and the Congress before has been increasing taxes on Alaskans.
The Huslia Tribal Council says its decision to banish some residents from the village is a way to protect its people. State troopers say those people who were asked to leave the village have done so and no criminal charges have been filed. In an open letter, Tribal Council Administrator Shandera Swatling said, quote, "A movement is happening in Huslia. It requires putting our foot down so that we may once again have a community that is safe," end quote. Huslia residents met at town hall meetings where they discussed problems such as domestic violence, sexual abuse, and bootlegging. Alaska villages have used banishment as a punishment since the days before Alaska became a state. Well, when we come back, the University of Alaska Regents will be meeting tomorrow to figure out their upcoming budget cuts. Also, in our military report, the 168th Refueling Wing has been busy lately with Russian bombers infringing on Alaskan airspace. Those stories are next. Stay with us. And welcome back. The University of Alaska Board of Regents will meet in Anchorage tomorrow and Friday. Discussion of budget cuts for 2016 are the main reason for the two-day retreat. Outgoing UA President Pat Gamble and the 3 campus chancellors will present reports to the board. At the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus, Chancellor Brian Rogers is looking for ways to cut about $14 million from the budget. State funding is expected to come up short because of the low oil prices. An event to honor Governor Bill and First Lady Donna Walker, as well as Lieutenant Governor Byron Malott and his wife Tony, will be held in Fairbanks this weekend. The inaugural ball starts at 5:30 p.m. Saturday for VIP guests and 6 p.m. for general guests. The Carlson Center is being transformed into a ballroom for the grand event. Dinner, entertainment, and dancing will highlight the occasion. More than 500 tickets have been sold. The gala occurs only once every 4 years and seats are limited. There is 1 day left to get tickets with a call to 350-4056. Event organizer Betsy Engel is looking forward to everyone getting gussied up and enjoying themselves.
Seeing the governor and the lieutenant governor in their taxis, it will be fun. We're having steak and halibut, and you have a choice. and just having fun and seeing old friends, new friends, or making new friends. And you know, Fairbanks is a very friendly community, and we're just like a big family.
As we mentioned yesterday, the 168th Air Refueling Wing at Eielson Air Force Base near North Pole has multiple missions as part of its function. Monty Bowen has more on the unit in this week's military report.
The commander of the Air National Guard's 168th Refueling Wing spoke to a recent Chamber of Commerce meeting and updated the community on a number of issues. One brought back memories of the 60s, when American jets were turning back Russian Bear bombers as they approached our coast.
Well, there's definitely, those missions are definitely sensitive, and some are classified, but the main thing is the Russians are trying to reestablish themselves as a kind of a superpower in the world, and some of that activity is flying their training missions close to the ADIZ and Alaska zone. And so when they get to that area and they launch F-22s, we launch with them, and it's been very active over the last year or so.
The 168th is very busy with the alert mission, deployments, and training. They're also preparing for the arrival of F-35 fighters at the base.
As the F-35s come on board, the training requirements for the F-35s, 2 squadron F-35s, and potentially the F-16 squadron for the aggressor squadron, as well as the units down south, F-22s, we give them fuel as well. That requirements for air refueling and training are just going to be exponential.
The 168th also hopes to acquire the new refueling tankers.
We're trying to posture ourselves for the new KC-46. The Air Force is buying 179 of those. That's projected out through 2029. And so, the KC-135 is fairly old already, and so we're trying to, although it's very capable and can last 25, 30 years, we're trying to make ourselves competitive for that, for the future.
We'll have more on the unit this weekend on the Fairbanks Evening News and News Center Final. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Military Report is brought to you by Stanley Nissan. Innovation for all.
Up next in sports, could the Iditarod restart in Fairbanks this year? That's a possibility. Another Ice Dog player is going D1 in the latest high school b-ball rankings with Joe Cook after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Sports fans. Joe Cook here to help you get over the hump with some local Wednesday sports. We start with some Iditarod and Yukon Quest developments. Remember last year the Iditarod flirted with the idea of having the restart in Fairbanks? Well, those talks are happening again this year. The lack of snow and warm weather down south has the Iditarod committee and mushers considering a restart in Fairbanks instead of Willow. The ceremonial start will still be in Anchorage on March 7th. The last Iditarod restart in the interior was back in 2003. If the restart is in Fairbanks, the trail will go to Nenana, Manly, then Tanana before connecting to the traditional route in Ruby. A final decision will be made in mid-February. The Yukon Quest could have an alternate start line because there's open water in Whitehorse. The race is 3 weeks away, and the start will be in Whitehorse pending any further changes. Fairbanks Ice Dogs will host the Wenatchee Wild this weekend in the Dipper. Also, an Ice Dogs player and local product will be in the WCHA next year. Here's more on the Ice Dogs.
The Fairbanks Ice Dogs are turning into a WCHA farm system. Fairbanks' own John Teets, a 2010 Hutchinson State champion, recently committed to the University of Alabama Huntsville Chargers program. He has 16 points as a defenseman this season. Teammate Adam Wilcox is also going to UAH. Teets makes 7 WCHA-bound Ice Dogs for next season.
It's kind of a building program, so that's exciting to be a part of. Obviously, Adam Wilcox from our team is going there, and there are a couple kids I know from my time in Canada that are either there or committed to play there, so I should know a lot of guys. It should be exciting.
They like our sort of players, kind of a blue-collar players that play in this league, and I think that league's doing a tremendous job. I think 2 of the teams, Bowling Green and Minnesota State, are top 5 in the nation right now, Minnesota State being one, so it's great that a lot of our players especially are moving on to those programs.
On the ice, it'll be about vengeance and redemption this weekend. The Ice Dogs invite the Wenatchee Wild into the Big Dipper for the last series of the season between the two once Midwest Division rivals. The series also starts a 7-game homestand. The Ice Dogs have won 5 in a row, but Wenatchee snapped the Ice Dogs' 10-game win streak in November. The teams are deadlocked at 4-4 in the season series.
Last couple games ended in pretty big brawls, you could say. So there's going to be a lot of emotion out there, and it'll be a fun weekend.
We have to play within ourselves and be patient and understand that, you know what, maybe we're not going to win a game 6-2, 6-1, whatever it is. We're going to have to find a way to win a game 3-2, 2-1, and just stick with that process.
And pretty important MAC hockey matchup Tuesday night between the North Pole Patriots and West Valley Wolfpack. West Valley undefeated in MAC play, and North Pole with just 1 loss going into that game. The Pack were in position for another blowout. They were up 4-1 after a Mike Olson goal, but North Pole, they roared back 2:41 into the third period. Jason Donald, he makes it a 5-6 affair after his power play tally. And Carmen Teal follows up with the equalizer just 4 minutes later. That was his second goal of the game, and it's tied 6-6. West Valley responded with the Stasha Skorowski, Zach Savorite duo. Skorowski finds Savorite for the go-ahead score at 9:47 mark. Then 2 minutes later, Ty Profit, he adds the all-important insurance goal. Profit, Skorowski, Taylor Gale, and Caleb Moritz all had at least 3 points as West Valley gets their 6th win in a row, 8-6 over the Pats. North Pole is 2-2 and 9-4 overall, while the Wolfpack improved to 4-0 in the MAC and 10-4 overall.
Our team has the mentality of always coming back right after a good goal. Got to keep that motivation going even through the down times. It's kind of what our team's built on is good character and leadership on the bench.
There's going to be highs and lows, and this was a good test for us tonight because we'd won 6 in a row, and it was a good battle for that. And maybe I didn't prepare them the best for tonight's game and that. So we got to compete for 45 minutes and take care of the puck. You know, just too many turnovers and a couple selfish penalties got us into trouble. But I think just pride and commitment and working hard took over at the end there.
In high school hoops, non-conference action at Ben Allison High School on Tuesday night. The West Valley Wolfpack visiting the Ravens. The Wolfpack led 48-20 at halftime and held Allison to just 10 points in the second half. Daniel Hornbrook, he had a game-high 25 points. Tyrell Peterson, he added 17. And Sean Kinsey had 16 as West Valley wins this one 80-30. Charles Sutters with a nice reverse there. The win stops a 3-game slide for the Pack. In the girls' game, West Valley struggled to hit shots early on. The Allison Ravens, they hung in. Desiree Moody, she had a shot to give Allison a 5-3 lead. She finished with 10, and then a Shelby McCann 3 made it 10-13 going into the second quarter. But then West Valley, they flipped that switch again. They went on a 33-3 run. Ruthie Hebert, she had a game-high 24 points, while Carly Marquez and Amber Schmidt added 10. West Valley improves to 9-0 with a 68-24 win. And here's a look at the latest polls for high school basketball. In the coaches poll, Service, West, and East are in the top 3. They're the top 3 teams in 4A. Lathrop is 10th and West Valley 16th in the Alaska Preps poll. Barrow is the new #1 in 3A boys. Grace Christian is 2nd and Monroe is 3rd. For the 4A girls, West Valley is the new #1 with a 9-0 record, followed by Diamond and Wasilla. In 3A girls, the Allison Ravens, they are 3rd in the coaches poll after going 3-0 last week, receiving their first ranking of the season. ACS is 1st and Grace Christian is #2. Interior wrestlers took back some medals after the Glenn Vandergraat Invitational at Diamond over the weekend. South Anchorage won by 1.5 over Colony. North Pole finished 6th, while Lathrop and West Valley placed 12th and 14th in the 17-team field. Dew Rogers won gold in the 138-pound class for North Pole. Ethan Schumacher earned bronze in the 152-pound class for the Patriots. West Valley's Jordan Ott got a bronze in the 113 class, and Lathrop's Jack Dickinson also won bronze at 182. The 4A high school wrestling season continues this week as North Pole and Lathrop meet tonight. Lathrop will wrestle West Valley on Saturday. And that's it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our Wednesday night newscast. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the weather. I want to clear something up right off the bat here. I've had a lot of calls, a lot of emails about folks saying it's going to get 40 below for Sunday and Monday. And you know what? That's all coming off of cell phones and of weather services that are outside of the Alaska area. So right now, The folks at the National Weather Service are saying, nope, 20 to 25 below is the coldest we're going to get for Sunday and Monday night. So keep that in mind. And we might even have some snow, and it might not even be that cold. So we'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. Our photograph tonight, this one's sent in by Ed Davis from Pump Station 3. It's a very interesting photograph. It looks like it's a vapor trail from maybe a rocket that was shot off from Poker Flats, because I don't see a lot of whole planes that are going loop-to-loop like that. Again, the colors are very nice, but the structure is really cool. And once again, as always, if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Your almanac looks like this. Today's high, 0. The low last night, 6 below. Record high up to 1961, up to 47 degrees. Down to 61 below in 1906. Sunrise and sunset about 5 hours and 51 minutes as we near that 6-hour barrier, a gain of 6 minutes from yesterday. On our satellite and radar, you can see the moisture piling on southeast Alaska. We'll show you just in a little bit how bad that is. It's causing widespread flooding over much of southeast Alaska, while the rest of the state is, for the most part, basking in clear skies to mainly cloudy skies around the Fairbanks area. Just enough cold and moisture to squeeze some snow flurries out. That's what we had all day long. Now across the state, here's what it looks like. Of course, the rain continues across southeast Alaska. Some rain around Kodiak, wet rain, cold rain, I should say, 35 degrees. Rain is wet, obviously. Anchorage, 9 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Clear skies at Cold Bay. Up and down the west coast, looking at clear to partly cloudy skies. 9 below at Barrow, and Fort Yukon, 1 above. Lower 48 weather, here's what it looks like, and we'll move on the west coast and show you rains have moved back in over the Pacific Northwest around Seattle and all the way down to Portland. Raining around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Snow's moved out of the Minneapolis area that was snowing here yesterday. A little rain, thunderstorm activity moving across the deep south and over the southern sections of Florida, and the snow that was moving across the northeast is out of the picture too. On our satellite and radar, you can see a real mess of moisture moving across the deep south into Texas, and this is bringing with it close to a foot of snow in the Amarillo area and down to Lubbock, Texas. Also a freezing rain possible for Dallas. There's the precipitation that moved across the northeast, and the new storm system moving across the northwest, bringing with it some rain into the Seattle area. The overall outlook is calling for the snow to move from Albuquerque right on into much of Texas, and then turn to rain, and heavy rain expected over the deep south. Got to keep an eye on that. And the overall jet stream has changed a little bit from yesterday, once again becoming a little more zonal, moving from the northwest to the southeast, splitting the country in half, bringing frigid conditions once again back down to the Great Lakes. All right, back to Alaska for tomorrow. The northern sections, here's what it looks like. Snow showers for Barrow, partly cloudy for Nome, and scattered snow showers in the Fort Yukon area. Over the interior, we'll be looking at, for the most part, snow showers for Fairbanks and Delta, and mostly cloudy for Healy. Now it gets really interesting. We were talking yesterday about the problems they're having over southeast Alaska. Well, we've got some video that was sent to us from KTUU down in Anchorage, showing just how bad it is in the Ketchikan area. And the flooding is really bad. We're going to go to that right now and show you what that looks like. And as you can see here, it is very bad up to some of the levels of the houses there. Precautionary evacuations are underway right now, and the rain is expected to continue, unfortunately, with this happening around Juneau and Ketchikan, mostly in Ketchikan right now, but Juneau also has some minor street flooding going on there too. All right, back to our map for tomorrow, and here's what it looks like over the southwest part of the state. We're looking again at partly cloudy skies at Cold Bay, sunny skies in Bethel, and rain and snow for Kodiak, while down over the south central sections, heavy snow developing for the entire region in the Anchorage Bowl right on down to Homer, including Valdez. Close to 10 inches of snow is expected by Saturday, so they were expecting, or they were worried about the Iditarod getting off. They're not going to worry about it anymore. They're going to have lots of snow after this storm system moves out. All right, once again, time for our kids' weather, and this week we're talking with the kids from Tuckasuk Brown Elementary School. Here's a young lady with a really nice picture to share with us tonight.
And this is my weather picture, and it's of the northern lights with stars and with mountains, and I saw this on my way to Anchorage, and I drew it because it was a class project to draw.
I think a picture was done with chalk. Very nice job, Emma. Thanks again to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. And tomorrow night, another young lady will be here to talk to us and ask me a question about the polar vortex. Haven't heard that for a while, right? All right, here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. Cloudy and quite a bit colder than last night. 16 below, some snow flurries still hanging around. Tomorrow's forecast, 8 degrees below with flurries becoming snow showers by afternoon. The extended forecast calling for a chance of some snow once again for Friday and Saturday. Then temperatures once again dropping down to around the 15 to 20 degree below mark. And that all depends on the cloud cover. If the clouds lift out now, the temperatures will fall dramatically, but right now everything is looking like the cloud cover is going to stay in there, trap that warmth, and give us not nearly the cold temperatures that many folks were worried about earlier today. I had a lot of calls on that.
I mean, it's still cold.
Yeah,
yeah.
But not
At
as cold as
for
it could
me,
be.
anyway.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mike. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on MC Nightly News, why this might be the perfect time to refinance your mortgage. That's next with Brian Williams.
That's interesting. Let's look into that. Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.
Good night.